3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Anderson. Anderson, and you're watching freaking Jiggy Jag TV.
Loud and proud, it's Jiggy Jaguar from JiggyJaguar.com.
Thank you. Good night.
This is
TV.
Oh, you know, he got out the notion of ever dying at all, darling. That old captain had one glass eye, darling. That old captain had one glass eye, darling. He walk away and leave his eye on a rock. Glass eye will watch me until 6 o'clock, darling. Thank you. That's one of those one-upsmanship songs. Everybody had a captain.
Your performance this evening here at the Art Center.
It's kind of a mixture of two ideas I've been going with. You know, one of them is called and I always name my performances when I start putting them together, so I can kind of have a theme that I can surround the stories and songs with.
Yeah.
And so one is blues in concert, and blues in concert. The word blues is a metaphor for African American culture, and in concert is a metaphor for mainstream America. So blues in concert is themed around the Harlem Renaissance, and it was a time when African American culture became part of the American mainstream through music, poetry, and art.
Yeah.
And then another program I do is called The Peculiar War, and it's about the Civil War, but instead of going with songs written during the Civil War, you know, like there's lots of patriotic songs,
Yeah.
I started reading diaries and tried to find songs where somebody were at a meeting or something was going on and somebody sang this song, or they heard this song, so I could attach a story to it. And so I kind of, so the spirituals were part of that, you know. That's where I do a lot of the spirituals. It's one thing to be able to play the song, but it's another thing to be able to put the song in a place and a time and a person. That's the joy for me.
Well, this morning you were over at HCC. Is that basically the same program you did?
Yeah, it's kind
tonight?
of
Did
the same
you do that over
format.
there, or?
Yeah, the same format. And what I do is, you know, I always look at my audience and I always try to figure out, you know, where you're pulling things in and pulling things out. You just fly by the seat of your pants.
Yeah.
Because with a college crowd, you ask what class is this? It's a geography class. So I try to let them throw in some geography so that they have a frame of reference, you know.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it. Thank you.
Well, tell me about Oklahoma Blues Hall of Fame. You were recently inducted into that.
Yeah, you know, the thing about it is my father is from Oklahoma. My grandfather and my father grew up there.
Yeah.
So I represent how Oklahoma music came out of there. Now, when I grew up in Kansas City, I grew up next door to a very well-known Oklahoma musician, Lawrence Wright. His sons played in the band with me, and my exposure to the blues, or as a blues performer, was through a guy named Lawrence Wright, who had the Wright family band in Oklahoma. So I got to meet D.C. Menor through a residency I was doing there, and so we talked. And it's funny because I knew Lawrence Wright, and Albert Collins played with him, and so I remember when I was a kid, you know, I remember Albert Collins, and so he wanted me to be in the Oklahoma Blues Hall of Fame as a representative of the music of Oklahoma reaching out and leaving the state.
Yeah.
And so I represent, you know, and my style of blues guitar is from listening to Lawrence Wright play the piano. Sometimes when I play, I try to get everything like a piano player. I heard, you know, the bass notes, the chords, the boogie woogie. And so that's what I'm doing on guitar. You know, I used to listen outside their window, and he would play this piano music, and I just couldn't believe one person was doing all that. But that's why I'm part of that whole thing.
Now, tell me about the PBS documentary you did some music for.
Yeah, that was called Black, White, and Brown.
Yep.
And it was about the Brown versus Topeka thing. And when KTWU came to me, they wanted me to do some period music, about that time. So what I did is I just gathered up about 8 or 9 different themes. Some of them were just for that production, where you just come up with 8 bars of music for this, maybe a whole measure for this, and then some jazz. But I kind of focused on jazz,
cool.
Jazz and instrumental blues. It's all instrumental music, of course.
Now you've got a new CD. Tell me about the new CD.
I'm working on spirituals. My old CD, Urban Folk, had a spiritual on it. Yeah. And in this marketing era, you put together a CD and you put on and people get to download it. Yeah. Well, the spiritual downloading outsells the album. So that's led me to think maybe I should be moving in that direction with my next. Instead of just putting one spiritual on the album, maybe this is what people want. They want to hear spirituals done. Kind of go back before they were so classically oriented, because we hear spirituals today as classical music, opera.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to rearrange them, or not, dearrange them or unarrange them, so that they sound more like folk songs, like they were originally intended to be.
That's cool. Now, you had 3 different guitars this evening. One of them was a banjo. Tell me about mixing all that together.
Well, you kind of have a chain of ideas, because the banjo was obviously the earlier instrument, and the tuning of the banjo was adopted by the guitar, and so but the slide guitar. Yep. And so that tuning goes back to, I call it an ancient tuning, because it's tuned so that the instrument can be played like a harp. Yeah. So a lot of melodies you play with one hand. And there's 2 tunings for guitar, 2 Delta style tunings. One is the G tuning, one is the D tuning. Yeah. So I'm going back and forth. Sometimes I'm uncomfortable just picking up the guitar and playing it because I forget which tuning I have it in. But one of them is a Spanish, they call Spanish tuning. Yep. And the D tuning, different musicians use C. I mean, some of them use C or E, but they all are essentially the same. But the D tuning is a little different. And so that's the one I use today. You can actually play Spanish music on it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, before I let you go, do you have a website or anything we can direct people to maybe purchase the album or anything?
Right now, you can go to CD Baby, and that's what any album will be on. Okay. And there's also a site called Sonic Bids. It's sonicbids.com/Lemuel Sheppard or Lem Sheppard. Okay. And in my school programs, whatever's going to happen, I put on there at lemsheppard.com. Yeah. But lemsheppard.com has my email on it, so
that's cool.
If anybody needs any information like that.
Well, good stuff. Well, good performance, man.
My music, and Bessie Smith told her, "Honey, don't let anybody tell you you can't sing." But that's what the rent parties were for. They would say they would cast them just like you would cast a play. You'd bring in people just to put them together and watch them interact with each other. But the Depression killed all that. Harlem was devastated. There were riots in Harlem and poverty. And so this is a song about a man who's looking for something to eat. And he's still got the 25 cents, but he can't find anything to eat except for one meatball. Little man walked up and down to find an eating place in town.
What's up? It's your boy Mars, and you're watching Jiggy Jag TV. Yeah.